everybody, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar. I am super excited about today's lesson. I kind of feel like a kid giving a book report in school back in the day. But I found this old Boss Pocket Dictionary Volume 1 booklet. And it's kind of funny because way back in the day, I used to dream about owning effects pedals. And so my friend and I would go to Guitar Center and we would look in the glass case and we would dream about one day owning some of these pedals. And the guy that worked there knew we couldn't afford them, so I think he felt bad for me, and he gave me this booklet. So I brought it home, and I was basically drooling over all the different pedals. I did my research, I read up on them. And at the end, it's kind of cool because they have these little diagrams that show you pedal chains of famous artists. So you have like Neil Schon, Andy Summers, Eddie Van Halen, and a couple more. I thought that was really cool. It's a clever way to get you to buy all these pedals, you know? What I did was I found this booklet and thought, this would make a really fun video to finally get the pedals that I always dreamt of and then put them together according to this diagram, according to this book, and see if it actually does sound like the artists. And just a disclaimer, this is not a paid advertisement for Boss. Somebody accused me of that the other day on social media, and I'm like, you know what? If the guy at Guitar Center would have handed me a DoD booklet, I'd be having a DoD video right now, or I'd be making an Ibanez video if the guy had happened to hand me an Ibanez booklet. But he didn't. He handed me a Boss booklet, so here we go. And Boss, if you're watching, feel free to send me a big fat check if you want. So the first artist they talk about is Neil Schon from Journey. It's weird. I used to always call him Neil Schon, so it's weird to say Schon, but... And the song that they were talking about was Separate Ways, which has a really killer guitar sound, both rhythmic and lead. So for the chain, they say I need a compression sustainer, a heavy metal pedal, which, by the way, ended up being the very first Boss pedal I ever got, very first pedal in general. A chorus, we have a CE3, into the rack mount DE200 delay unit, and then into your amp. So let's check it out. Here's the dry sound we have today. This is just my Vox 2x12 amp. It's not real neutral sounding, but it takes pedals really well, so I decided to go with that today. If you add the compression sustainer, it compresses and sustains, surprisingly. So this is a great one. I mean, this one really holds out the notes, and it compresses in a really great way that just makes things sing, especially with distortion. Okay, let's go with the heavy metal pedal. All right, and these are the settings that they said to do in the book. So they actually told you distortion at 2 o'clock and so on. So I tried to follow that as close as possible. And now the CE3 chorus, which is going to give it sort of that 80s vibe. So without the chorus, with it. Now, they mentioned specifically not to use the rack mount delay until you do the solos, but I think it sounds really great on the rhythm as well. So here's without the delay on the rhythm. Here's with it. I think it just gives it that stadium rock sound that you really need when you play Journey songs. Just that little tail at the end that sounds like you're in a huge stadium watching the band. I think it sounds pretty close. Let's try the lead one time, though. Beautiful. I think that sounds almost identical on the lead part. The rhythm, not so much. I think the heavy metal pedal, the tone of it, isn't quite Neil Schon level. It kind of has like a fuzz pedal vibe to it a little bit, but it'll do the job. If you're just someone playing at home and you want to get close to a sound, I think they did a decent job with this pedal chain. The next artist they talk about is Eddie Van Halen. Now, specifically in the Beat It solo that he did for Michael Jackson. I think they may have dropped the ball a little bit on this one because in the booklet, they say just to do the heavy metal pedal into your amp. Seems kind of simplistic, they're probably just thinking Eddie plugs into his amp, just straight in, it's all good, it's that brown sound. But the heavy metal pedal doesn't have the brown sound, and it's a little bit strange sounding for this, but it kind of works. I would add a little bit of the compression sustainer, especially for the solo part. So let's check it out. See, if you're just plugging into an amp in the studio and you want to crank it up to 10, you can get all the sustain you need all day. But if you're at home and you're playing kind of quiet, you sometimes need the help of that compressor to get there. All right, for the next one, we're going to play the riff from Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes. I was real excited that that was in this booklet because I've always loved that riff. It says that we need 5 different pedals. Now, here's another disclaimer. It says to use a noise gate, but I'm not really playing that loud. I'm not playing live, so I just omitted that one because, you know, it just cuts off the sound when it gets noisy. So for this one, I'm not too concerned about it. So we're just going to go with the other 4 pedals. We have a compression sustainer, the heavy metal pedal again, a vibrato pedal, and then a chorus into the amp. Let's try it. So dry it would be... Let's add the compression sustainer. Doesn't that sustain nice? I'm really falling in love with this pedal. I did own it way back in the day, but I ended up selling it for some reason. Okay, let's try the heavy metal pedal with it. They say to use the vibrato only for the chorus, so let's skip it for now, go right to the chorus pedal. It's kind of confusing. Not bad. I actually really like the sound of that. I'm big into like the 80s vibe, so that chorus pedal adds a lot of that. Now, once again, I think they dropped the ball a little bit. I think because the intro to the actual song has a lot of reverb tail on the hits. They could have added one of their reverb pedals into the mix, you know? But even using the rack mount delay gives it that kind of a sound. It just needs some sort of a tail to make it bigger in the beginning. So let me try that. Isn't that cool? That stadium rock vibe all over again. Okay, let's try the chorus. I'm going to add the vibrato pedal, turn my volume down a little bit, and see if we can get close. It's a little strange sounding. I don't know if I really hear that on the recording itself. I listen really carefully, but it is some sort of weird modulation effect. I just don't know if it's this vibrato sound. I also think that the heavy metal pedal makes that part a little too extreme. It's got to be a little bit more in the background and clean. So I'd probably shut it off if I was actually going to do this part. For the next pedal chain, we're going to use the most pedals so far. We're going to use 5 into the amp. And we also need to switch up the distortion now. So we're going to be using the super overdrive instead of the heavy metal pedal. So in this one, we have the compression sustainer. All of these have that pedal pretty much. The overdrive, the chorus, delay, and then the digital delay. So lots of delays going on, but you're going to see that each one of these pedals adds some more character to the overall tone. That's a very important word to remember, character. You might think it's such a slight effect that doesn't matter, but it does add that extra little character that's needed. So let's give it a try. Okay, check out that pedal chain. It's pretty intense. So we have the compression sustainer, super overdrive. By the way, the drive is set to about 9 o'clock, so it's very subtle, but it's needed. All right, chorus. First delay. That's such a subtle tail, but without it, it sounds too dry. So here's without it. Here's with it. The last digital delay is the most interesting part of the character of this sound. Listen to the difference. Here's without it. If we add it, the only way I can describe it is it adds a boxiness to it, almost like it's being played in the other room or something like that. Without it, it sounds a little more in your face, even though it does have the other delay, giving it a little bit of a tail. But if you add the digital delay, in this case it's the DD2, it sounds a little bit more distant in a good way. So one more time without it. With it. Not bad. I think I would shut off the overdrive pedal in the studio and do a pass of that as well, just to get a little bit more of that clean sound in it. You know, the percussive muting really comes through when you shut off the overdrive. All right, for the last one, I need a super stratty, throaty sound, so I'm going to switch to my John Mayer Strat guitar, and then we're going to do the solo for the song Maniac, which is off the movie Flashdance by Michael Sembello. So let's give it a shot. It's funny because I thought my 2006 Strat Deluxe could get this throaty, but it can't. It's like nothing can touch this guitar when it comes to that extreme Strat sound. All right, for this one, we need 4 pedals and the delay unit. So we have the compression sustainer, surprise, surprise. We have the overdrive. This one says regular overdrive, but I'm using the super overdrive. It has one less knob on the overdrive. And then we have the digital delay again, mixed with the chorus this time after the delay, which is interesting. It does matter what order you put these in. And then into the rack mount delay, into the amp, and let's see what happens. Okay, so let's get the dry signal. It's almost inaudible. Let's add the compressor. Okay, we got some volume now. Overdrive. Delay. It's got that boxiness still too, doesn't it? Chorus. And now the clincher. Let's add that stadium delay. Okay, let's try the solo for Flashdance. Okay, that was my favorite one so far, especially the tapping part. That was too much fun. I seriously feel like a little kid who got free reign of Guitar Center or any music store with a lot of pedals, and I'm just going crazy with it finally. So, very good feeling. I almost said what a feeling, but I was just playing Flashdance, so that would have been kind of a bad dad joke. But anyway. Okay, everyone, hopefully this video was fun to watch. I'm just going to play around with these pedals for a lot longer than this video is going to go for, so I'll be busy doing that. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you at the next video or live stream. See ya.